You're listening to the Beans and Dice podcast, a podcast about how we game.
Hey, folks. Welcome to the Beans and Dice podcast. I'm Carlos.
I'm Rob.
And I'm Wayne.
We're a podcast about
How we game.
That's right. And we are gaming.
Thursday night call-in show. What?
Beep, 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 beep. All right, folks. I am trying all new stuff tonight. I'll let you know.
Ooh, new stuff.
You know, and I'm trying to remember the caller. She talked about Twitch, kind of got us going into this whole Twitch idea. So I went ahead and bit the bullet, spent some money, which I try not to do, and got myself onto a service that streams to all of the three places where we're located. Bean and Dice.
Oh, now you're going to try to remember stuff?
Hang on. No, Mitchell's asking about my name there. Let me rename that. He's right.
Beans?
I'm working whole new setup. Whole new setup.
You spent money, so you had to give up most of the beans. So
Yeah, we had to give up the S. We're down to one bean.
down to one bean.
One bean. Too expensive.
If you're looking to support us financially, you can find us on OnlyFans.
Or send us beans. Yeah. Send us more beans.
I'm getting the phone plugged in because, that's kind of...
Anyway, so we're streaming,
You talk, Rob, I'll
streaming
plug.
live simultaneously. You got to help me, though. So we're Twitch. We are on YouTube. And we are on...
Facebook.
Yeah, Facebook.
All at the same time.
So new service. We're trying out. Carlos, like I say, he spent a little money out of his own pocketbook. So we're sending out a thing over the waves. The thing, the internet thing, the inner tubes, and it automatically goes to all three of those services. Any chats, from what I understand, are supposed to come in and be consolidated into one chat. So if somebody's watching us on one platform and someone's watching it on another, it'll all aggregate into one, and we'll be able to answer questions and interact that way. So as always, we want you to call in and tell us what you've been up to. Talk to us about what games you've been playing, anything you've been hearing about gaming news, any conventions coming up that you're going to or you're excited about and want us to hear about, you want to invite us out to. We've gotten out to a few that we never thought we would have been to before, including the SOBO, the Southern Board Game Festival in New Orleans, or in Lafayette, Louisiana, just 2 weeks ago. So definitely call and let us know what you're doing. If for some reason you can't call or you don't want to call, but you want to still interact, again, use the message board. All that stuff's going to be aggregated. Come to us through the message board. We'll stop and kind of catch up on comments here and there, and we'll interact with you that way. But interact. That's the key word here. Is we want to interact. This show is about you, and it's all about you calling in, you sending us messages, giving us topics to talk about.
And we are live. Phone number's up. 813-618-7099 is the number. I'll put it in the chat. And looking for that first call. Mitchell, where are you at, brother?
Yeah,
let's see if this phone works.
I'm sure Mitchell. Seeing on Facebook them posting all the photos from Sobo, the plane win and all the photos. It looked like a really good time.
It was a good time.
Everyone was having a blast. Looked like a nice, great time for gaming. I think that's like a sweet spot of a convention. A couple hundred people.
Yep, nice little intimate. It wasn't huge. There wasn't so much going on that you had when we go to the Dice Tower East every year. We kind of have to plan. All right, we're going to hit this, then we're going to hit that, and there's this show at 5:00, and then this after hours thing we want to hit up. But yeah, these littler ones like the retreat we went to in Orlando, and then the Sobo Festival, just a couple hundred people, real intimate. You get to kind of meet people and talk to people, and again, we've got to do a better job of that. We've discussed that. Kind of breaking out. I especially like to hang out with people that I know and play games with people that I know, but we need to get out and meet more people and play games with other people. So
that is definitely more of Rob's thing. I think at one point, we could use this episode to tell Wayne about our trip, kind of what we did and how it went down and the time we spent at Sobo. But let's check out the chat, see who's in there first. Right here, BJ from Board Game Gumbo
BJ.
Yells out, Sobo!
Sobo!
Yes, sir. We thank you for your hospitality.
Oh, absolutely.
For the games that we won. I mean, that was awesome. Winning games is great. So we really appreciate you doing that for us. Exodus says, Sobo!
Sobo!
And if I'm right, Exodus is Connor. I think Connor is Exodus.
Was that Connor? Okay.
I believe so. Connor, chime up. Is that you?
From the New Iberia?
Winner of our first game of Ark Nova.
Oh, yeah. Our first introduced us to the
Connor.
game.
Your first and only game because it took too long?
Well, does it count as 2 games because we played it over 2 days?
Well, it does. Yeah, probably. Get 2 entries on the BGG. Yeah.
All right. So Mitch tried to call, so that did not work. Let me try this again.
Carlos is going to be working on the technical part.
He's going to blast me on the chat, I'm certain.
But it's interesting, a lot of cons, I work in education. Other people, going to some conventions can be rough. But if Sobo is in the same time next year, I might have to take a trip out. If we're,
It was a good time. It was my wife really enjoyed. She came along with me,
New Orleans,
and she to New Orleans. It was her first time in New Orleans. I hadn't been since I was a little kid before the hurricanes and all that kind of stuff. So it's definitely different than I remember. Carlos got a taste of Bourbon Street.
No, Bourbon Street got a taste of me.
for sure. Yeah, literally and figuratively. So yeah, that was something. Oh, here's the first call.
Beans and Dice podcast. State your name. Where are you calling from? Beans and Dice. Let me know if you're with me. Can you hear me now?
Hello?
Hello. Can you hear me now?
I think they're listening to the live feed.
All right.
We
tried.
We'll try that again. But yeah, I think they might have been listening to the feed. It sounds like they were responding to the delay.
Probably good advice because as someone who called in a bunch, there is kind of a delay.
Yeah, there's definitely a delay. Yep.
When I would call in, I would mute the YouTube channel or even pause it.
Yeah.
Because it would interfere with the call, and then I would catch up later on.
So I think here we have an experienced caller. Let's see if this works. Beans and Dice podcast. State your name. Where are you calling from?
Your mom.
It's working. The phone's working.
There we go.
This is Mitchell from Louisiana. I don't know who just tried calling. I think I might have accidentally cut them off. My stream was a little delayed. Do you know who just tried calling?
No, we don't. We heard them listening to us in the background, but they weren't speaking up. So it seemed like it wasn't working. Maybe they weren't hearing us. But are you hearing us clearly? We're trying a whole new tech setup, so I just want to see if it's working.
Yeah, there was a little bit of buffering on the stream. I don't know if that has anything to do with that. But other than that, looking good.
Okay, excellent.
Awesome. Appreciate you calling in and helping us test this out.
All right, Mitchell, what you been up to?
Well, that's all I had to say, so bye.
Bye. See you later. Thanks for calling.
What have I been up to? Well, actually, you guys were talking about Sobo. Carlos, last week you said you kind of wanted to wait on Rob to give the full story. I want to be on the line whenever we talk about what happened on Bourbon Street. Yeah, I thought you guys were just mentioning it. That's story and how you brought your 8-month-old daughter to Bourbon Street and got some really funny looks.
Yeah, but we weren't the only ones that had a baby on Bourbon Street.
Yeah, there was another one.
Now, that parent had the baby with the snake handler.
Had protection, yeah.
They had the snake handler and the baby getting pictures. We didn't go that far.
They had about a 15-foot snake wrapped around 2 different people. Yeah, it was something.
See, I thought, for me, I was okay, it's a Thursday night. We're just going to walk around and get some dinner. I think that's how it started. We went to try to go get dinner.
Exactly, yep.
And we figured while we're in this area, let's just cross the street.
I told Carlos, he was like, it's not too crazy down here. We were like a block south of Bourbon Street. And I said, oh, no, you got to go up a block before it gets crazy. And I was like, are you ready for this? And he's like, sure, let's go on over and let's just check out Bourbon Street. And I was like, all right, let's make one trip down Bourbon Street. And a trip it was.
Keep in mind, this was a Thursday night.
It was a Thursday night. It was St. Patrick's Day, though. I will note that it probably wasn't the typical Thursday night, but it was Thursday night, St. Patrick's Day, and I know there were some people there, particularly for St. Patrick's Day. You could tell they were having a.
I completely forgot about that
particularly
part.
Good, yeah.
I think by that time I had a few daiquiris. Yeah, I completely because we started early.
You'd forgotten everything at that point. You were just feeling good, kind of floating down Bourbon Street. Yeah.
Thank you, Mitch, for hosting and touring us around.
Yeah.
It was great having somebody more local to grab onto.
Yep.
We didn't feel as lost.
For sure. Yeah.
Well, I can't claim much. I live a couple hours away from New Orleans. Rob kept out and asking, like, hey, what's that building? I'm like, I have no idea.
So you just got to make stuff
usually
up
when I go
then.
to New Orleans, I go, I should have. But I go, I do what I'm going to do, and then I leave. I don't, wander around the city like, touristy kind of thing. So
yeah.
Sorry, wasn't more help there. But, yeah, no, it was fun. And we can't gloss over what happened after we got back from Bourbon Street whenever we were trying to play some games.
We're getting there. Oh, yeah, we're getting there. So what was the particular offending game? We were playing the Dino, what's it called? Roaring Right? Roaring Right, yeah. Go ahead and explain what happened during that adventurous game there.
Yeah, those of you on the Discord already know.
We all know that Carlos falls asleep during games all the time.
Oh, yeah.
So, we're maybe 50% through the game, and every time it's not Carlos's turn, he starts nodding off. And we wake him up, he's like, oh, what? And then he'll take his turn, fall back asleep, and then by the last maybe 10% of the game, We could not wake him up. Literally, Rob just said, "Mitch, just finish this game for him."
Yeah.
So I finished that. I scored everything. And by the way, whenever I scored it, I realized that Carlos was completely short of himself, because whenever he was taking his quote-unquote turns, he was doing the bare minimum, not taking advantage of the things
half of his turn.
I think the best part was the picture you took, and I'm literally asleep, sitting upright, holding a pencil.
Yeah, pretty much.
And then
we heard we heard a refrain over and over and over again about, "I only had 2 drinks. How could it have been 2 drinks?"
Carlos says, "What are these Louisiana people put in your drinks? Like, I can't ever come back here again. There's something
swamp
different about the water here." And then we're picking up the game. Carlos has been out for a good 10 minutes. Rob goes to the bathroom. I'm literally like putting the lid on the box, and Carlos wakes up. He's like, "What happened? What are you talking about?" He's like,
"Who won?
Where did the board go?" No, Carlos, literally, you said that you closed your eyes for 2 seconds and you woke up and the board was gone. That's how far gone you were.
That's exactly how I felt it. I don't know if anyone's ever gone under for surgery. I've had many of them. And, they tell you to count back from 10. I usually get to 8.
I got to 8. Yeah.
And then I get to 7, and I'm in a whole other room, and they're holding me down, telling me to calm down, right? It felt like that. Like, I just blinked, and I look up, and like a magic trick, everything was gone. and there was no one across from me, so I felt like everybody left me. Like, I realized, oh crap, I'm alone, but Mitch was still there. It was a great time.
It was something.
It's the combination of alcohol and the sugar, the pounds of sugar in those daiquiris and the the beignets.
I crashed.
You were in a diabetic coma.
Yeah, the beignets, cafe au lait.
Pretty much. Yeah. That was it. But no, we had a great time all around. In Lafayette, I had a good time. And, of course, again, appreciate you and your gracious family, your wife, for putting me and my wife up for a couple nights at your place. Helped us save a couple $100 on a place to stay. So that was great. Got to hitch a ride back and forth between New Iberia and Lafayette. Got to see a little bit of New Iberia, which was really cool. And the cane growing all over the place. The cane factories there in New Iberia. We got to check out the Tabasco factory next time we go, which I understand is not in New Iberia, right? It's kind of in the area there.
Well, so it used to be a part of New Iberia, and then whenever Tabasco became so profitable that it's on a little island, it literally broke off and became its own municipality.
Okay.
But back in the day, the bottles used to say New Iberia. Now they say Avery Island, which is, like I said, it used to be within New Iberia, so it's right there.
Okay. Well, I definitely want to check that out next time we come, and there will be a next time. I'm pretty convinced. So yeah, I think Carlos and I both plan to come back. So as long as y'all will have us, we'll definitely be back.
Well, thanks again,
Mitch. Of course, I wish you could have seen a little bit more of the town, but we were pretty much gaming nonstop. So I'm glad that the festival's going on across the street.
Oh, that music festival!
Get a little bit of music and a little bit of food. The Festival Acadien.
Yep. I think I had.
That was nice.
I had crawfish etouffee there. We had some gumbo. We had some jambalaya. There was a strawberry. I forget the local beer there. What was the beer?
Abita.
Abita.
And then I brought back some of that. Oh man, what was it? The Juicifer. Yeah, the IPA. That was good.
Yeah, good times.
Well, awesome. Well, I'll be seeing you guys again for Dice Tower East. I did go ahead and buy my ticket.
Excellent.
My badge. So I'm excited for that. And yeah, I had too much fun with you guys. You guys are making me spend too much money.
Yeah, we'll do it again.
Now I got to go. And see you guys.
All right, we got more calls coming in. We appreciate you, Bobby.
Thanks for calling.
Take care.
Thanks
for
joining.
Hey, Mitch.
Sure. Bye.
Beans and Dice podcast. State your name. Where are you calling from? Beans and Dice.
It's the Beans and Dice Call-In Show.
This is the Beans and Dice Call-In Show.
Hey, this is James Luft. How are you?
Hey, Lofty. How you doing, my friend?
I'm doing all right. How about yourself?
We are having some libations. Just finished playing a game, testing out a whole new streaming software setup. So we're kind of
we're doing
a little wonky on the tech, but so far so good.
Doing good.
Feeling good. What's going on in the Florida Blood Bowl world?
Well, I didn't know if you were still taking callers. I figured I'd call in and drop some info.
Drop it.
For sure.
Share it.
So, for those who do not know, Florida is about to have one of its biggest tournaments yet coming up, which is the Three Kingdoms Challenge at the end of April. That's going to be April 23rd and 24th, I believe, and it's going to be at Cocoa Beach at the Palms Resort.
International Palms Resort. Get it right. It's international.
Right, international.
Big time.
I still have my refill Pilsner from like 10 years ago.
Because if you can still get your free
I'm going to see if I can still get my beer refills.
Wow. Stretching the dollar.
You should try. That would be an epic tale if you were able to pull that off.
So what are
Yeah, that's the big Florida Blood Bowl news. But I actually wanted to call in and talk about some board games that that I got a chance to play lately, which I am not a big board game aficionado. If it wasn't for you and your podcast and the people that hang out at Brevard Game Lounge, which is my FLGS and Rockledge, I probably would still maintain that same type of mentality where, you know, like I just, you guys amaze me. Like, you just have no fear whatsoever to learn a new set of rules for a new board game.
Every night.
Cowering in the corner. I'm cowering in the corner going, hey, Luff, do you want to play a board game? And I'm like, no, absolutely not. No, because just the idea of learning like a whole new rule set to me is like just taboo. And it's all those walls have slowly been chipping away. So yeah, I played. So we had a Blood Bowl tournament at Ken Parks' house last weekend, and Josh Wojcik brought a copy of, and you will probably know the board game before I will, but I think it's Betrayal at Baldur's Gate.
Oh, yeah.
The D&D version of Betrayal at House on the Hill.
Yep.
Yeah, I never played it, and I kind of went in kicking and screaming, and I'm like, let me just watch and drink some root beer. And I come on, play, and I'm like, okay, and I did. I had fun. It was a lot of fun.
We just talked about this last week on the show about this being a good intro game, while others were arguing saying it's not a good intro game. I think Wayne and I were on opposite ends on the spectrum.
I think it could be a great intro game if it works out well. It could be a bad intro game if you don't get the good layout or somebody gets the wrong bad guy or the scenario.
We'll let James Luff decide. Was it a good intro game into board gaming, James?
So I'm into board games or into Dungeons and Dragons?
I would say that version, it has the Dungeons and Dragons theme, but it's board game.
Yeah, I liked it. I thought it was I thought the rules were pretty easy, and Josh was running it. Or wait, was Josh running it? Who was running that thing? I think it was Josh. Yeah, it was Josh. And he had to refresh himself a little bit, but it went pretty smoothly. Zach ended up betraying us during the haunt, and yeah, he ended up he killed me, which was fine. It was fun.
That's good.
No, I think it was a pretty good intro. I don't think it was overly complicated. It had the flavor of Dungeons and Dragons. It kept me interested. I thought it was pretty good. It was a good intro.
I haven't played that version. Have y'all?
I have never played that version.
See, and that version interests me because I wonder if the betrayals are more if it's
is it like a dungeon crawl?
Did they retheme the game, all the original betrayals, or did they make new haunts and themes? And that would be interesting to learn too.
I don't know.
Well, okay, so assignment for you, James. You got the assignment. You now have to go play original Betrayal. You have to play second edition. Right. Then you got to do the legacy game,
of course.
And then after the legacy game, when the third edition comes out, you're gonna have to play the third one because that one's coming out shortly.
And then report back.
And then report back. What's the difference?
All these requests are more than fair. I'm just going to let you know the end of my bucket list, which means skydiving comes first.
Priorities.
You know, there's a whole bunch of I'll probably die before I get to it, but I will give it a try.
Okay.
Let me say, what's the other game that I played? We went camping. We did just a Florida Blood Bowl goes camping. No Blood Bowl, like no tournament. So it was just like, hey, if you have a cool game, bring it and we'll play it. So I was putting together my Hero Quest box set while two other people were playing Blood Bowl. But at some point we ended up playing, is it Ultimate Werewolf? Is that the name of it?
Yeah.
One night? Did you play One Night Ultimate Werewolf?
Yes.
Okay, one night. Okay.
And we played it by campfire, and it was a lot of fun. Will Claypool was the, what do you call it? Like the person who keeps everything going.
Yeah, the kind of narrator.
The narrator, yeah. And I tell you what, I was the werewolf like 3 times, and people called me out on my bullshit before I could even do anything. And I'm
That's because nobody trusts you, bro.
I know. I'm like, dude, what do I just have a look on my face? Like, it's gas. It's okay. It's gas. Leave it alone. But no, it was a lot of fun.
Never.
And I had a lot of people tell me to play that game.
Yeah, never have a red T-shirt on when you're playing werewolf because you're the first one to die every time.
Oh yeah, the red shirts.
That makes total sense.
I guess all those nerds just decide if you're wearing a red shirt, you're dying first.
Will die.
Between Dragon Con and Necronomicon, over the years, there were times we'd play that game for 8, 9, 10 hours straight, from 10 p.m. until 6 a.m. in the morning, just game after game after game. I almost will not play that game anymore because I played it so much. But you get a group of 16 people that really start to know each other, and they can just
James, you don't get it.
Ugly.
If you go to a board game con, one of these cons where they do 24 hours a day for 5 days straight,
it's all night every night,
every night, nonstop, and daytime. They dedicate whole sections of the facilities.
whole rooms.
DragonCon has an entire room just for werewolf.
And when we say room, we don't mean like a small room like what we do in
like
a
a
Blood Bowl.
ballroom.
Yeah.
Yes, like a ballroom size room.
Yeah.
And there's just multiple games of werewolf going on all night long.
You can get 20 or 30 people in a game, can't you? Yeah.
Yeah, sometimes they'll do big games
That
like
sounds
64, 32,
Okay.
usually 16. We have one of our game group, one of our crew that goes to DragonCon every year, Paul, he only plays werewolf at DragonCon. He goes to DragonCon for 5 days and plays werewolf for 5 days straight.
That's crazy.
Crazy to me, but that's what he does. And he loves it. You know, it's like a lifestyle game to some people. And like he goes every year and it's the same group of people, you know, same 50, 100 people that are there. They know each other. It's like they play werewolf once a year for 3 days straight together and love it. You know, it's a good game.
That is awesome.
Yeah.
Not my bag.
And we will not kink shame him for that being his kink.
Exactly.
No,
That's
because
fine.
Blood Bowl's ours, and we don't want to be shamed for that either.
Right.
Hey, man, I am so glad to hear
right.
you are dipping your toe into the board game space.
Awesome.
This means that in between games and tournaments, when there's lulls, or even afterwards when we go hit the brew pubs for dinner, there'll be games of all kinds of stuff that I could bring to help continue to introduce you to the
Crucible.
hobby.
Well,
Crucible, October
it's funny you should say
in
that.
2022.
Yes, it's coming up. But you got me into another game that I just ordered and I haven't gotten it yet. Is Epic Tiny Dungeons. I saw that on your podcast, and I'm like,
nice.
that looks cool. I could get behind that.
That's a
so
fun
I
one.
ordered
Right
a copy,
here,
and
I'm
I'm
holding
looking
it.
forward to it coming in.
It's right next to me.
Nice.
I'm prototyping. I'm going to share a little bit about my laser cutting when I'm prototyping for that one.
You bring some games to Crucible, and we will play. So you get me into the. You know what? You kind of know what I like. So you bring some stuff that you think I like, and I will try it. I promise.
Nice.
You know, to say that as you start getting into board gaming, after the first couple of games, you start to absorb the rules, and once you learn all the types of gameplay mechanics, you go, you start making a connection. That game is like this game, or this mechanic's like this mechanic.
Yeah.
So getting through rules becomes easier the more games you play.
For sure.
Well, thank you so much for your call. We appreciate you, James.
Yeah, man.
Take care.
It's good to hear you guys, and I hope you have a good night.
Good night.
Thanks for calling.
All right, see ya.
Beans and Dice Podcast. State your name. Where are you calling from?
Andy, brother,
Nandy, my man. How are you? Another Blood Bowler calling in.
Oh,
Let me put a Mitchell's comment
Blood
up.
Bowl night? Yeah.
Mitchell's comment. A Blood Bowler calling in about board games blasphemy.
Well, I tried calling before I goofed it up.
Yeah, I heard that. You goofed it up. What topic do you have for us tonight, Nandy?
Well, there's going to be in Jacksonville, where I'm from. There's going to be a flea market.
Ah.
Oh, so you folks in Jacksonville, be on the lookout. Is it this weekend, Nandy?
No, it's the April 15th.
15th of April in Jacksonville.
Couple
There's
weeks.
a board game flea market coming up.
Okay.
You're going to be out there, Nandy?
Oh, it's an everything flea market.
Okay.
It's an everything flea market.
Everything. Board games, Blood Bowl, everything.
Miniatures.
Blood Bowl miniatures, Warhammer.
Okay.
The guy, it's at FLGS, which is the Friendly Local Game Store.
Is that the name of the
On the
store?
west side. FLGS.
Is that the name of the store?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow, that's very meta.
Yeah. FLGS nationwide
Yeah, I know.
is friendly local game store. So, yeah.
I guess that's the one way to get your Google Analytics to
Right.
the top. Right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Did you say it's one day or 2 days, all weekend, or?
One day,
1 day. Okay.
Saturday.
Saturday.
It's from 10 to 4.
Okay. And are they allowing anybody to sign up and get a table there, or is it only certain people?
I think they're full now.
Okay. So if you're in, you're in. But otherwise, anybody can obviously go and
Yeah,
browse.
I'm in.
Okay. So you're gonna have a table there.
Yeah.
Awesome. So, folks, check out Nandy at the FLGS April 15th in Jacksonville, Florida.
Yeah.
Thanks for the heads up, Nandy.
Yeah.
Have a good night, brother.
Nothing else.
Take care, Nandy.
Nothing else. Okay.
Good night, buddy.
Bye.
Nandy's one of our local Blood Bowl players.
Okay. Cool.
So he plays in our league in Armada.
Yeah.
Over at Armada Games. So he's sharing. Let's go through some of the comments here real quick. Let's catch up on those. Phone lines are open. Put those in. Phone lines open, 813-618-7099 for those of you looking to get in.
Yeah. Keep calling. Tell us what you're up to.
Let's see here. Borging Gumbo says, been playing a ton of 10 Penny Parks.
I've been seeing that one lately. I haven't watched too much on that one, but I keep seeing that one pop up on my feeds for the YouTube videos. And so I think they must have just recently lifted some embargo on that or something, because a whole bunch of reviews just hit, I'd say in the last 24 or 48 hours. They've just been pouring out. So, but I need to check that one out. I don't know that one too well yet.
I've never heard of it. Is it Euro?
I'm like, it just popped up on my feed.
Just all of a sudden, it's everywhere.
Yeah.
So
I guess Borging Gumbo gets access to all the good stuff.
he's already on the boat. So yeah, nice.
Exodus confirms that yes, he is Connor.
Okay,
thanks Connor for being in there
for sure. Thanks, Connor.
Let's see here. Mike, one game says, ring, ring. Yes, we saw your call.
Yeah, call again. Call back,
We
please.
were on the line with someone else. So,
we got the call waiting, so you saw you pop up there, but we couldn't.
That was 3 calls back to back to back without even a gap in there.
So, yeah.
That's pretty cool. So thank y'all.
Well, call back, Mike. We want to talk to you for sure.
I guess the streaming on all these platforms is a good idea.
Yeah.
Board Game Gumbo says, speaking of streaming on platforms, watching on the Twitch now. Looks great. Sounds great.
Awesome.
So we got our first Twitch viewer.
Appreciate that feedback that it's coming through good. That's we were a little curious. We didn't take an opportunity to test it out ahead of time, but we just kind of pushed the button and went live tonight. So
Board Game Gumbo says, it's all new haunts in the D&D universe.
New haunts.
I like it better than the original.
Now I want to play it.
Okay, because some of the haunts in the original were broken, from what I understand. I hadn't played a whole lot of the original. I know you've played way more than I have.
But it ticked me off, Rob, because they did second edition.
Yeah.
And you purchased second
They
edition.
didn't fix it. Yeah.
No, and they didn't fix it. Come on, bro.
I assume in the third they will, but I'm not holding my breath.
I have first edition and the expansion, the Widow's Peak.
Oh yeah, Widow's Peak.
Like
I think it is. Yeah.
Never even played any of the things from Widow's Peak. It just
No.
kind of got tired of it after a while. But
The messing up of the rules, having the FAQ, everything figured.
a little bit, but definitely the D&D one, it would get me going because I'm a D&D guy.
Beans and Dice Podcast. State your name and where you're calling from.
Hey, it's Connor Smith from Nyberry, Louisiana.
Hey, Connor, how are you?
My man.
I'm doing pretty good. My man.
New catchphrase, yeah?
Every time it's Connor, I would say
it's always my man.
That's Connor's thing.
I full on adopted that catchphrase to my friend group now.
There you go.
Well, because every time Connor came up to the table that I was playing a game at, Connor would come over and he would provide supportive, positive conversation about what I was doing.
Unlike me.
Correct. He'd walk up and be like, I bet Carlos is going to win.
Uh-huh.
And I'm like, my man.
Yeah, there you go.
So from then on, that's how I greet him.
It's a thing. Yeah. There you go.
I'm glad to have come second place to you in Arc Nova.
Oh, absolutely. Actually, speaking of Arc Nova, I was going to talk more about that this week. So last night or night before, I went over to Jeremy, who owns the copy of Arc Nova that we played at the Board Game Festival together.
Yep.
We went over there and we played another game, and I ended up picking up another win against Jeremy 1-on-1.
Nice.
And I'm currently undefeated in Arc Nova.
Wow. Was it 5-0 now or what?
3.
A 3. Okay.
No, 3-0.
3 for 3. Okay.
Retire.
Yeah.
You're done.
100%.
But so the reason what I want to talk about this time was having played it the third time. When he first saw the game, there was a lot. He gave a lot of similarities between it and like Terraforming Mars. And so my question is, based on your memory of the playthrough, what comparisons can you make about the two, and which one would you prefer more between Terraforming Mars or Arc Nova?
We talked about this just before we went on tonight.
I'll lead off because I didn't talk too much in that conversation, but I will tell you, I did not feel the connections to Terraforming Mars nearly as much as I expected to, based on the conversations that I've seen online.
Agreed.
I just didn't feel it. Why? Right. Like, so the differences, I just don't feel like I interacted with my cards as much. I was really focusing more on my dashboard, my zoo, right? My player board zoo.
Yeah.
The cards on the side, I really wasn't tapping them to do stuff.
Yep.
And that's what I think I love about Terraforming Mars, is building a tappable action engine.
Me too.
And the creating cubes that places cubes here. Okay, I'm talking about cubes like Rob now.
Hey, gotcha. On the good side here. Come over to the light side.
What do you think, Rob?
I agree with you 100%. I was expecting it to be way more similar to Terraforming Mars. I guess it's just that card building tableau thing. But like you said, in a good game of Terraforming Mars, Carlos and I may have a tableau of 30 or 40 cards out in front of us. In Arc Nova, gosh, I don't know how many do we have. Maybe 8 or 10 or 12 or maybe a little more.
Not
than
a
that.
ton.
Yeah, it was not anywhere near what we did in Terraforming Mars. And again, so to get to the second part of your question, not to cut the first part too short, but I think I clearly, even though I've only played once and I want to play again, I mean, it's a very good game. I really enjoyed it, and I was just touching the tip of the iceberg in one play, and I know there's a lot more depth there that I want to get into, but right now, I think there's no way it tops Terraforming Mars for me. Terraforming Mars easily beats Arc Nova, in my opinion.
Yeah, and honestly, that makes a lot of sense based on what you just said. So I'll give you the perspective of someone that's played a few games of it already.
Sure,
and
yeah.
And won a lot of them.
Yeah.
At this point. I'll go with the tappable action. So I do agree. Yes, Arc Nova does lack the tappable actions because in Mars, you put all those blue cards are just all actions you can do possibly once every generation.
Yep.
And so Arc Nova does lack that. But I will say, as far as just overall interaction with cards, there's a lot of cards that say you play a card and you're drawing more cards to add to your hand. You're maybe snapping cards off of the display. There's some cards that even offer in-game scoring and even cards that offer income options. So there's still a lot of interactivity with your cards, but I will agree, there's not as much as in Mars.
Yep.
I will say though, one thing I do like more between Arc Nova and Mars is the fact that the board itself. So in Arc Nova, you have your own playable board. And there's no way that other players can mess with your board. Whereas in Mars, you're all using a shared planet board, and so it's easily people can be like, "Oh, I'm going to go ahead and play this greener tower, play this city in a place that you may have wanted to go in your next turn." And so, for me personally, it gives me I like a bit like a big game of solitaire against other players rather than, "Oh, here's a bunch of gotcha mechanics that can really mess you up."
And I'm more usually on that side, but this game I didn't feel that. Again, and Carlos and I talk about that all the time. He loves interactivity. He loves messing with people. He loves that part
Daniel's
of it.
down, baby. I love to throw a comment on you.
I usually prefer a game that doesn't. I usually prefer a game where I'm doing my thing. There's limited interactivity. I'm trying to maximize what we have better than what you maximize what we have and beat you in the same kind of game. But in this one, I just didn't feel it. I don't know. And again, it's going to take me a few more plays. Again, I played a lot of Terraforming Mars. I played this one time. So this one definitely has me curious. Again, I think it's a really, really good game. Again, a borderline great game. But Terraforming Mars, I don't know. And again, I wanted to just touch on before I forget here, the thing that makes me kind of AP in Terraforming Mars is because you have so many cards and so many options. I didn't like in Arc Nova that you had a hand size that I constantly felt like I've got to get this card on the table now, or there's a pretty good chance I'm going to need to throw it away because there's three other cards that are already in my hand that I absolutely can't throw away. And I was constantly having to make that decision on cards. In Terraforming Mars, you have no hand size. You can, sometimes in that game, I'll have 15, 20 cards in my hand on top of the 20 or 30 that are already on the table.
No, not sometimes for me, every time. Like, that's my first goal. If I'm going to achieve, what is it, achievement?
You got at the bottom, the
16?
Yeah.
I'm going for that first. I'm always going for like the 16 cards first. And then I figure out how I'm going to play the game. And you're right. That small hand size just felt restrictive.
Yeah, I know people playing Terraforming Mars with me, that's going to be one of their first comments is that I've got too many options and I slow the game down because I'm trying to look at everything and trying to figure out how to maximize all those cards to combo this into that, to get this on the table, to do that. But I enjoy that. That's where I really enjoy my game is that I've got all these options. And in Arc Nova, I felt, and again, I just need to get to know the game better. I need to get to learn those combos. But I felt like I was really restricted, having to constantly discard cards and just burn them and not be able to use them, not get credits for them or anything. Just having to throw stuff away and make those tough decisions. I don't know. I didn't love that part of it.
When I've never played Arc Nova, but I've played Terraforming Mars a few times, and I think I actually like. There's play interaction because you have the main board, the planet you're building on, but there's like enough that you do on your own, and you're building your own little engine as well. So it's not completely in your face play interaction. There's a good balance there, and I think that maybe Arc Nova being no play interaction, but then you can't keep all the cards like you were just saying. I think that's where maybe that is falling off because you're not getting the player interaction, and then you're not also then able to just do everything you want with what you have. So I don't know. That's what it sounds like. I haven't played Ark Nova yet, so
Go ahead, Connor. I know you were itching to get something in there. Go ahead.
Yeah, no problem. So I was going to agree with Robin with the idea that with the whole thing with the planner achievement, getting the 16 cards in your hand. What's funny is that in the vast amount of games I've played, I adopted that strategy early on with like getting a lot of cards, getting a lot of money, and I easily got steamrolled by all the other players because I had too many cards and I wasn't able to do a whole lot with it. That's so and obviously it's opinion based, it's strategy based. That's why I like Ark Nova so much better because of that small hand limit. It's forced me to constantly think about I need to worry about small hand count and worry about maximum efficiency every single round because at any point I could just lose my cards.
I can see that.
And then force myself down to that 3 or 5 card hand limit.
Okay. Yeah, I can see that. And again, it'll take me some more plays to get used to that. I think I played so much Terraforming Mars that I've gotten used to that feeling, like all these options, and I can keep these cards, and I don't have to make that decision on what to get rid of. I might keep this card just in case I draw the other card that I know that's in that deck, because those combo up so nice, and nobody's played that card yet, so it's still out there floating around somewhere. But, yeah, I mean, it's just it's one small part of the game, but it's that was one of my first feelings is like, ooh, I got to keep discarding cards, and I don't get anything for it. Ooh, didn't love that feeling.
Yeah.
Well, thanks, Connor, for bringing it up again. I'm sure it was tough for you to call in and describe.
Tell us about your
how you're undefeated.
3 undefeated games. Yeah.
well, I mean, so one of the big.
I know, man. It sucks having no one that's better than me at the game, man. It's horrible.
Need some competition, yeah.
How have the play times? So
oh God, yeah, Connor, you got the
better
experience
now that you've played a few times.
Yeah, the game's sped up. So the last one that was a 1-on-1, we finished in under 2 hours easily.
Oh wow,
but
okay.
It was also between people that know how to play the game.
Sure.
Still
yeah.
2 players, 2
2
hours.
players, 2 hours still.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
A little grimace on Carlos's face there, but yeah.
Okay. We appreciate you, Bobby. Have a good night.
Thanks for calling, Connor.
No problem. Good night, man.
Take care. Man, the game's sometimes so long. And Robert, you're right. The restrictiveness of the cards, and I think I brought this up about other games before, where I struggle is understanding, determining the value of something.
Yeah.
And when you've got a discard down, you really have to know the value of the cards in your hand. So that's kind of like the Terraforming Mars because I can just keep them all and figure it out later.
Yeah.
So having to make that decision in the middle of the game, that's a negative play experience.
Yeah,
And how many times you have to play before you learn the value of the
The stack of cards is
Right.
as big as Terraforming Mars. It's like
yeah,
that.
pretty close. Yeah, it's a lot of cards.
So
yeah.
it's like that's I don't know. We will play it again.
Oh yeah, for sure.
We will
yeah.
play it
Oh, I
again.
want to play it again. It was a good game. Yeah, I enjoyed it. Another call.
Beans and Dice Podcast. State your name and where you're calling from.
This is Ron from Atlanta.
Hey, Rod Frazier. How are you, sir?
I'm great. How are you gentlemen tonight?
We are well.
Doing good. Doing good. What have you been up to?
That's great. I mean, aside from work, I've played a board game here or there.
I bet you have.
A little bit unmatched.
Unmatched.
A little bit of unmatched.
Carlos is a big proponent of that.
All that glow.
Yeah,
That's a good one.
Yeah, we've all played some Unmatched. Which faction or which side have you been playing?
Well, played a few games. Played as Jekyll and Hyde, who I like thematically, but
Yes, being able to switch
falls a little-
from Dr.
little
Jekyll
less.
to Mr.
Yeah.
Hyde, getting different powers.
One of them does what?
Yeah.
One does more damage, but is more vulnerable.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love the concept of it, but maybe I haven't figured it out yet.
Well, that game's got a lot of
But,
intricacies. I know I haven't played a whole lot of it, but I know the last time I played, I think, was Little Red Riding Hood, and that one is tough.
Yes. Yeah, she's cool too. She's cool. Yeah. Like, and I really like Beowulf.
Ah, yes, that's a good one.
Out of that.
Yep.
Getting the 3 rage.
Getting the rage up and then popping them at the right time.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I kind of feel like maybe the Jekyll and Hyde should play like that a bit.
Okay.
I don't know. Anyway, just a random thought. But what I'm really calling about is tomorrow I'm going to a local convention.
Oh, cool.
Wonderful.
More of a get together.
Nice. How many people do you know?
Well, it's limited to 250.
Okay.
So
That's a good number.
It's called it's called Atlanta Game Fest. They pre-pandemic they were doing it 3 times a year, but they've done it I guess twice last year. I've actually never been, but like it started today, and basically they open up at 10 o'clock. They opened up at 10 o'clock, and that game room is open 24/7 until Sunday at 8.
Okay.
Nice.
So, yeah, like it's so in a sense that it's going to be like the HR retreat with a small number of folks, because their library won't be as extensive, and people are bringing their games to add to it.
Pretty much an all board game kind of thing.
Yes.
Okay. No RPGs or anything on the side.
Exactly what it is.
Okay.
No. This is all board games, so I'm going to go in there. I'm probably going to bring a couple of games with me just to make sure that I have something to play, because I haven't been. But I'm sure I'm going to find some folks to play with the whole weekend. I'm going. I work tomorrow morning, but I'm going for the rest of Friday and all day Saturday. And
okay, is it sold out yet? Do you know, or do they still have tickets available, or do you know?
I don't.
Okay.
Well, I don't know. So I imagine that they're not sold out, but they have to be pretty close.
Okay.
So
anybody out there who wants to go play games with Ron Frazier, check him out at the what was the title again? It was the Atlanta Game Fest.
Atlanta Game Fest. Yeah.
There you go. And that'll be through this weekend.
Yeah.
That's really
Yeah.
cool.
At the Atlanta Marriott in Alpharetta.
Yes.
Cool.
We're sharing the image of the website now.
The Atlanta metro area definitely either equals or beats the Tampa Bay Orlando area.
They know how to how to play their board games.
No, as far as conventions, like they've
He said they do it 3 times a year.
that 3 times a year. Then there's MomoCon and DragonCon, and they have like Atlanta. There's a lot of game and nerd related stuff going on in Atlanta. I love it.
Yep. There's Toylanta, which formerly Joelanta, which was it's G.I. Joe and action figure focused, but there's also board gaming and RPGs that go on there. There's Southern Fried Gaming Expo, which happens in June.
Oh, yeah. My buddy does sales there. He's an international candy company. He's always at Southern Fried. He's always telling me to go to the Southern Fried.
And
he's up there selling all these Oriental type candies.
There's a MomoCon, which is like an anime con, but there's also gaming and stuff like that there. There's obviously DragonCon and these, and they're up there with the.
They know how to game,
game and have a good time in Atlanta.
Yeah. So I'm lucky to be here, but who knows if I'll be here for much longer.
Oh, you got some plans on the horizon, or?
My wife and I are looking to relocate to Orlando.
Oh, wow.
Okay.
Gonna be real close, just right up the road. Yeah, we don't mind that.
We make it to a couple of cons there a year, and usually we're over there a few times a year with the kids and stuff.
It's only an hour from us. I was actually just there last weekend. I had to miss the show last week because I was over at Disney for 4 days with the kids and the orchestra. So yeah,
keep us posted, my friend.
For sure.
We'll do. I mean, we'll see how things go. I got a interview with a local company.
Nice.
My wife is, so my wife's best friend lives there, and our 2 kids are the same age.
Perfect.
So it's kind of like, yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot to do in Atlanta, but as I'm sure you're aware, there's a ton to do in Orlando.
Yep, just don't do the free fall rides. I mean, it's a little scary.
Oh, yeah. Well, I don't go into that. But that was ugly.
That's rough.
Yeah.
Ron, we thank you for the call, man, and appreciate you, and Godspeed on the interview.
Yep.
Best of luck.
All right. Thank you.
Call us back and let us know how it goes.
All righty. Will do.
Thanks, Ron. Have a good night.
Good night, Ron.
Yeah.
Oh, that's some breaking news there. So, that's springing the possibility of a relocation to our area.
Now we can get Beans and Dice Orlando going.
Yeah, I can finally get an RPG in. Maybe he can come down here and host a little something. Yeah.
Let's see on the chat. So what do we got here? Let's see. Mitchell, of course. Betrayal is trash.
But what about the D&D version, Mitchell?
You got to try them all, Mitchell. You got to try them all.
I don't know that he's a particular D&D fan, but yeah.
We got a comment here from Mitchell. Carlos, I noticed your casual placement of the new logo lamp.
Yeah, very nice.
Very casual. And then all the way from Sweden. Edmund, England from Sweden says,
there we go.
Nice beans and dice lamp.
Commenting on the lamp. Very cool.
Very cool. Little laser etched lamp. I kind of just created myself. If I don't say so myself.
Yeah,
we'll talk a little bit more about that later.
Made a little thing. We got
maybe another episode or so.
Yeah.
Time flies.
So many calls. Yeah,
time flies.
We're already getting off the end of the hour. Yeah, 10 minutes left in the hour.
Mitchell says a board game gumbo koozie. Very nice.
Yeah.
BJ from Board Game Gumbo gave us these. I think I have yours still, Robert.
Okay, I think so. Yeah.
So I've got mine, and I mean, I'm not an owner of koozies. Not my thing. I know Wayne is huge on the koozies.
Yeah.
I started liking Wayne's koozie, and it was actually mentioned to Wayne, I need to get a koozie because it's like a built-in coaster.
Yep.
Like I'm not worried about moisture or condensation on my game.
Sure.
So I will take a free koozie because if it's free, it's for me.
Incoming transmission.
Oh, got a late caller coming in.
Beans and Dice Podcast. State your name. Where you calling from?
Hello and good evening. Happy Thursday, gents. This is Nick Oben from West Virginia.
Happy Thursday, Nick. How are you?
Salud. Happy Thursday. What's your libation of choice tonight, Nick?
Hey, I was doing a little bit of Big Wave, just some beer. Earlier
Big Wave. That's local, isn't it?
I had a
Tarpon Springs, right?
Yeah, it's Big Storm Brewery.
Yeah.
Right. Yep, good stuff. And before that, I was at before axe throwing. Of course, you have to drink before you go axe throwing.
Of course, that's always a great idea. Wonderful idea.
Because safety third. Safety third.
Yeah, shout out to it's in there, right?
And this is how he got his name, Stumpy.
Shout out to the local brewery, Double Branch.
Nice.
I was at Double Branch right across the way there, and had their session IPA. I think it actually was called something bad, like Dirty Water, but it was a session IPA, so it was good.
Okay. Yeah. What have you been up to? What are you playing?
Well, so I got a couple of good things, obviously, hashtag game of the day, going strong, and me and the boys found a new filler game that is a lot of fun, new to us, not new at all, but The Crew.
Oh, yeah.
We've been playing The Crew.
Great game.
It's nice because you can sit down and play one mission, and, not that we're just looking to check the box with our game of day thing here, but some days you do just kind of need to get a game in,
Yeah.
Yep.
It's not like it, but it's like it.
Yeah. We just finished the 5th mission, which I think that people say the first 5 are kind of your training or whatever.
Sure.
And that 5th mission though is the one where one of you is sick, and so you can't win any tricks. That's the thing. And so all through the first 4 missions, the boys were learning the game and learning kind of the nuances of trick taking. And hey, if you got to pay attention, if your 7 is now the high because the 9 have already been played, you should realize that. And then this mission was all of a sudden different because you have to play out the whole hand, right? You have to play out all whatever it is, like 13 cards. As opposed to the first ones where once you do, like, someone's got to win a trick with the green 3, and someone's got to win a trick with the pink 7 or whatever, right? And once you do that, you're done. This one, we had to do all 13, and I was the sick one, so I couldn't win anything, and the boys really had to manage me losing, right? And they loved it, and they did well. Landis ran the table, winning 10 hands in a row.
Wow.
And it was like, this is amazing. This
wow,
is amazing.
Nice.
Yeah. And so, because I did go ahead. I mean, they're little, or they're new to trick taking. And so I did give them the kind of heads up, like, hey, I'm going to try to lose barely, right? Like if Landis plays the 9 and I've got the 8, I'm going to play the 8 to try to barely lose because that's perfect. It gets rid of my good cards, right? Meanwhile, hey, Leo, you should lose bad so that you can win later, right? So like if he plays the 9, and I play the 8, make sure you play your 2 or whatever, because if you've got the 7, you need to win at some point. And so that was it. I just kind of gave them that pointer before we started.
And then they ran the table. They did it, and we won. It did help. I had not a single trump in my hand because this is the one where Leo was the commander. He had the 4 of rockets. So he had the 4, the 1, and the 3. And then Landis had the 2, and I had none. And so Landis said he was feeling pretty good. I said I was feeling bad, and Leo made me sick. He said, yep, you're the sick one. Yep.
That's a fun mission.
Yeah, that's a good one.
And it was fun. It was good. Yeah, I liked it because it was the first one where we had to play the entire hand, and it really tests, I think, watching young players who have not played a trick-taking game before.
Yeah.
It really tests, like, do you get this? Do you get how this is going to go? Do you understand how to stop someone from winning the entire 13 hands? Right? It's a non-trivial thing. So it was fun. It was a lot of fun.
Everybody I've introduced the game to, that's the first one. It's where people go like, oh, okay. So this is not like just a normal trick-taking game. The first 3 or 4, there's kind of a theme to them. They kind of feel like, okay, this is kind of just adding one more little step on it, one more little step. When you hit that 5th one, it's like, oh, they did something different here. Okay, this could be pretty interesting. So
I just don't. I've thought about it. I would never have thought that I would actually step up and teach this to my kids. I feel there's so many layers to a trick-taking game.
Yeah.
And then you make it co-op, the layers on layers on layers, like an onion.
It's like, can you start with that, or do you need to teach them spades beforehand?
Yeah. But my worry is if you teach somebody competitive trick-taking first, I don't think you can go to co-op. Like, it takes Nick, you described some difficulty with it.
Yeah, and so actually I was going to point that out. I'm glad you mentioned that. Because this is their first trick-taking game, they're going to think that trick-taking games are co-op, right? And it's this weird like alternate reality. And oh, by the way, I'm not giving them a dissertation on the history of trick-taking games and how this is actually weird.
It's probably how I would start my teaching.
Yeah, I'd say how this is.
All right, kids, Poppy set up a PowerPoint. We're going to watch the history of trick-taking.
If you think about it, like, so spades is usually teams of 2, so it's co-op and competitive.
Yeah, a little bit. Right?
Yeah.
So that might be a good one to start with.
Right. Or when they show up to middle school and they're playing hearts and they're like, Poppy, I hate you. I lose at hearts because I'm
not cooperative.
I'm trying to help. I'm trying to help them win, and it doesn't work out that way. Yeah. No. And for them, and I do find this with kids that are used to playing games and a variety of mechanics. You know, there is all this background and history and significance to trick-taking games that they are ignorant of, and in this case, ignorance is kind of bliss. Like, the crew is actually a really easy game to teach if you don't bother hitting them over the head with how big a deal trick-taking is. Right? It's just you explain it to them, and they're like, "I got it." It's not complicated. And co-op games, we do a lot of co-op, so co-op is a very comfortable place for them. To live in. So it's going well. Now, of course, we've only done the first 5 missions, so ask me again.
It's usually as far as I get with any group.
Yeah, so we usually I've gotten up to like 7 or 8, but it's tough.
We're always teaching somebody,
right? If somebody,
so we start over the top again.
Yeah,
and then work your way.
I've done that 4 or 5 times now with 4 or 5 different groups. So,
I'm just looking forward to the. I have it. I've had it for months now. The crew underwater one.
Oh yeah, we need to try that.
I just haven't got it to the table yet.
I keep hearing that once you do that one, you don't want to go back. So we'll have to see.
Is the general consensus the new version is the better one?
Yes,
it's got some better mechanics.
So in the original version, the goals are in a book
prescribed.
Start finish to 50. The new one has a deck, and every mission will have a different number of cards. Each card you flip is a goal or an objective.
It's got kind of a difficulty.
The difficulty ratings is where it's going to come in. It tells you how many cards each person's going to get will determine the difficulty of that game. Okay. So it creates that infinite replayability.
And that scales, I believe, from the number of players that are playing. So that difficulty rating goes up and down. So it makes the game scale differently or better for 3 players, 4 players, 5 players. So yeah, it's the other one. It is what it is. Some of them might be easier with 3, some might be harder with 3, and it's just you're reading them out of a prescribed.
I brought it with me to every game day that we've done, and it's still. I just haven't got a chance to get it to the table.
Hit the table, yeah.
But Nick, now that you're into the crew, when I see you at the next game day,
let's do it.
I know I can count on you.
When is the next game day?
9 of April. I think it's that Saturday.
For Saturday,
because this Saturday I think is
Second Saturday.
Is first Saturday would be April Fool's Day?
Yeah. It's the day after.
Day
Tomorrow's
after.
April
Yeah,
Fool's
tomorrow's
Day.
the first, so it'll be this Saturday.
The second.
The first Saturday. So yeah, so it'll be a week from Saturday. Anyway,
Your turn. At your turn.
at your turn. Okay.
Put it in your calendar so you can miss it.
Very good.
Wayne's put it on his calendar.
I was going to say, I can tell you right now, I cannot make that, but we'll make it happen.
Yeah.
And we got to get more Sleeping
TKC,
Gods.
man.
Yeah.
You know what? Let's take it to TKC. Three Kingdoms Challenge, Blood Bowl Tournament, Cocoa Beach, Florida. I got a room. Nick's got a room. So we and James called in today and talked about some board games he got introduced to, and he wants to learn more about board gaming. So I will bring it with me, and Nick, you and I will introduce it to Lufty.
And were you trying to?
I'm excited about that. Actually, you know, and I heard Rob snore, but without Carlos even mentioning Blood Bowl, I was going to mention it. How I'm currently sitting at my painting station. I got home here, sitting at my painting station, where I went berserk on one of the recent so the 3D print packages that I subscribed to by Punga. Punga is a fairly well-known Blood Bowl team maker, and it's their Savage Orcs, and I have 30 printed and primed minis sitting in front of me because I'm going to be using a bunch of different variations on lineman stances for the lineman-only league, Carlos, at Armada Games. I don't know if you're doing that, Carlos.
I am.
Lineman-only league. Okay, awesome. Starts in theory tomorrow. I haven't seen a ton of info yet about it, but I know it's much more cash.
Much more cash.
Just three games throughout, three games at some point throughout the month.
That's
right?
it.
So,
it's a commitment. 3 games throughout the month.
Yep, I like it. And so I've got literally a lineman only team that I'll work on for that, and then I do have the separate minis that I'm bringing to TKC where I'll be playing orcs for the first time. I'll be bringing orcs for the first time. The Savage Orc team by Punga can then be positionally wise played as the orcs as well. So I'm pretty excited about that, actually. Not gonna lie.
I was just telling Carlos we got to get in some more Sleeping Gods. We got to get that next session scheduled on.
Oh, man, we've been having fun with that.
Get you to play that again.
It's a beautiful narrative story.
It's great.
Yeah. So we'll put something on the chats to hopefully get back to that the next week.
Don't
or
be
two.
salty, Nick.
Oh.
It's fine.
We voted against them.
When I see we
had an option. We had an option to either be do-gooders and save
the burning village,
or
let it burn to the ground and
then
loot it.
Nick was the good one that wanted to save the village, and you guys were the villains.
It was either let it burn and loot it while it burns, or stop it from burning.
Yeah.
We chose to use the burning as a distraction to loot it.
To loot the town. Yeah.
We voted. It hurt Nick. I can see it from across the table.
Yeah.
It hurt him hard.
He's a teddy bear. Or what does Tom say?
I'm interested. I'm interested in the ramifications because I know when we did that, it was like, hey, you lose this quest, and you gain a different quest. And I'm like, I don't think I wanted to gain that quest.
But that's really the reason I did it, is because I want to see if you make an obvious mean choice, how will the game bring that back?
You're going to come across a village where there's a survivor from the fire, and one of you is going to be wearing the necklace. That's my wife's necklace.
Oh, God.
That would be rough. That would be rough. We'll see. We'll see where that goes.
I'm sorry, bro. My bad. Let me take this off. But here you go.
The nice thing is these are only about 12 hour at a time. So if we find out we run into all negative consequences and we decide to reset and do it again, then we can make some different decisions. So yeah.
So Nick, did I hear you're not going to be at the next board game?
It's fun. Yes, I will miss the one on the 9th. So we won't be playing Sleeping Gods then. We'll probably work into it anyways. But.
Okay. Yeah, we'll figure it out. We'll get a weeknight session in again. I'll post it up on the boards.
So I just looked at my calendar. Worst case scenario, I can be there by 3 p.m.
Okay. All right. So Wayne might make his first game.
Soccer?
Yeah, it's soccer, Mike.
Soccer.
Yeah,
Yeah,
kids got a soccer match.
Football. So don't let the kid drink and do axe throwing.
No, yeah. As long as you don't do that, everything else is okay. Yeah.
Good night, Nick.
Pro tip.
Thanks for calling, Nick.
All right, you guys have a great night.
Have a good evening.
Yeah,
Bye-bye.
rock and roll. Bye-bye.
I know we had one person that seemed to be eager to call there. We'll see if we can give them one opportunity here in the last couple of
Rob,
minutes.
run us through the chat.
Some
Let's wrap up the chat
Okay, we're
here.
at 10
I think
o'clock.
we were at.
I got to figure out how to use this new mouse system.
And the new setup here. I mean,
Okay.
I got to say, this setup has been nice. It's been easy.
Yeah.
Usually I'm jumping between multiple softwares. I'm using multiple screens.
Yeah, sharing your screen was pretty easy just now.
Yeah.
It's nice.
It's $20 a month, though. Oh, that's a board game.
Yeah, that's tough. That's $20 a month, a couple months.
$260 a
couple
year.
months. That's an expensive board game. But
we got to get more people on our OnlyFans.
All you got to do is just sell a couple of those dice towers.
Yeah, I got to show those off.
So Mitchell said to him, the only thing about Ark Nova that really felt like terraforming Mars was the inclusion of the tags, kind of linking up the different cards. And I mean, I think it went a little deeper than that, but the tags was definitely kind of a direct thing or a direct comparison. Let's see, what other comments do we have here? Mitchell says, I have literally never played a game of Terraforming Mars where someone got the planner milestone for 16 cards. Really?
What? See,
I find that almost every game. Every game somebody gets that.
I can't imagine not trying for it.
The first time we played, who was it? It was at Dice Tower.
It was
year.
Brad. Bradley Payne.
He did that right off the bat, and I guess there's a strategy actually in Terraforming Mars that's a pretty solid strategy where you don't play any cards almost out of your hand until the second half of the game, and that way people can't combo off of stuff that you've put out and do things off of cards that you play, and you hold them all in your hand. And Bradley was doing that the first game.
That's mean.
He had like 30 cards in his hand, and then the last couple rounds of the game, you're just going boom, 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 boom. You're just laying out tons of cards. You got these really ridiculously long turns where you're just doing thing after thing after thing. So, I'm surprised, Mitchell, that you haven't seen somebody employ that because I find just about every time I play that somebody gets that 16-card milestone. But, yeah.
I think it's because his people rush through games.
Maybe. Because
you can't finish a game if you're not playing cards.
He mentions how they're always trying to push the end of the game. But, again, we enjoy the tableau building and the comboing and all that kind of stuff.
Rob and I will sit for hours just running our engine. Not terraforming it. We're just running our engine.
Yeah.
I got more microbes. Oh, I'm going to try to see if I can find something in space. Pull a card. No, not what I need.
We got Ferdinand Richardson says one name game dungeon attack, Win Zombies Attack, and Roach Party. Do we know what he was talking about?
Different dungeon crawlers.
Dungeon crawlers. Okay. Gotcha.
That's Nandy. He called in earlier.
Oh, that's right. Okay, that's Nandy.
Ferdinand is Nandy.
I haven't heard of Roach Party. That's one I'm not familiar with. So
Cockroach.
There's
Poker.
Cockroach Poker. Yeah, Cockroach Poker, but I haven't heard of
Dungeon Attack. I'm not even sure what that one was.
Dungeon Attack. It sounds familiar.
Yeah, I'm not familiar.
I've definitely heard of Win Zombies Attack, although I haven't played it. But Roach Party, I haven't heard of. So we'll have to maybe look that one up and see what that one's all about.
Cutlery. That is Ed Ward.
Ed Ward. Oh, wow. Okay.
It is two names. Ed, last name Ward. I just want to say Ed Ward.
Edward. I want to place. I want someone to play D&D Clue with me. I'm not familiar with D&D Clue. Have you guys heard of that one?
I've seen D&D Clue. Yeah.
Have you?
I'm sure there are plenty of different versions of Clue. I just don't want to play any Clue.
Huh.
I know you said it was okay.
Yeah, I don't hate Clue. I played Clue as a kid.
Melissa's been asking me to play.
I have the VCR Clue.
You got a VCR still?
Yeah. The only reason why I keep it is
keep the VCR just for VCR Clue.
I haven't played it though in like 20 years, but it's fun.
We got Mr. Jeeves chiming in here. Said I just played the crew Mission Deep Sea. It's really good. I like the variation on tasks or of tasks. So yeah, that's supposed to be the strong thing there is that those tasks kind of mix things up and they're out of a deck, so they just kind of randomly come out from game to game. So yeah, that seems to be the big thing that's a hit there. And then I'm not sure what the comment was in relation to here. I jumped to this one just a second ago. What game is this? I missed part of the stream. I'm not sure, Connor, which game you were referring to.
I think we were talking about the crew at that point.
Is that the crew? Maybe?
With Nick Oben.
Trick taking. Okay. So, that's a game that came out. It's a cooperative trick-taking game. Was a big hit when it came out. I think it was nominated for, was it a Spiel nominee 3 or 4 years ago? I believe it was. It was nominated for Game of the Year over in Germany.
German's not my first language.
Yeah. So I don't think it won, but I have to go back and look. I can't remember what would have beat it out that year. But, real turn trick taking on its head because it made it completely cooperative where you're going through and beating missions. But if you like trick taking games, I can't recommend the crew enough. It's a great game. Here we got my 1v1 games of Terraforming Mars usually end in 10 to 13 generations. Okay.
10 to 13 turns.
I haven't played a whole lot of. I don't know if I've actually played hardly any Terraforming Mars one-on-one.
I mean, Connor, you're not getting the 16 cards based on what Mitch is saying.
Said, yeah. You're only playing 10 to 13 generations.
Like, so you're just looking for the terraforming cards and just pushing dials
right into the field.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what's strange to me.
It's different.
I'd have to play with you guys to see how that feels.
They are a different group.
Yeah,
I think it's that swamp water, that Louisiana swamp water.
I enjoy my 4 to 5 to 6 hour games of Terraforming Mars. So, yeah. Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah, that's when I just kind of want to sit back, slow roll, and just enjoy
Watch my engine hum.
Yeah, enjoy the engine.
And I can kind of get mad when somebody ends it. Like, dang it.
Yeah, you didn't let me do what I wanted to do. I just had a thing going there. Yeah.
You did 8 more turns.
Yeah, we got Cutlery says, I ended the game of Terraforming Mars with a mega credit income of 74 per round. That's nuts. I don't think I've pushed maybe 50 once or twice, but 74. I mean, come on. If you're doing that, you're not doing anything else. I mean, all you're doing is making mega credits, right? Yeah.
Money bags over there.
Yeah, that's and that I'm sure that had to do with one of your starting corporations. I know some of them help you get mega credits when you do things, so that had to be a thing here. But my record was 80, but that was once in a lifetime game. Yeah, I guess
mega credit production.
Yeah,
80.
It's all you're doing then.
Are there enough pips on the board to get to 80?
It goes up to I would go up to 100, I guess, right? Because there's the 10 plus, and you can go. Theoretically, I guess you could keep placing ones on top of the 10 plus and keep rolling that over. But yeah,
I would think you're doing it wrong at that point.
Yeah, that's you're neglecting some other things in that game if you're doing that. So our Terraforming Mars games always get past 120 points easy.
Let me pull up my scores and see if I've scored one.
I said I have to look at the board again to remember.
I write them in the box. I'd have to get the whole box down.
And the scoring track there, just remember. I can't remember what that track caps out at. I don't know. Maybe somebody could tell us, or Carlos is going to look it up.
Let me pull up my. It's got a couple plays in here. Top score from all our players is 91 in the games that I've recorded. So yeah, we haven't broached that level of.
Haven't hit the 100.
Have you looked into your TM guys, the Ares Expedition, the expansions?
I just watched the video of that.
Yeah, I know they were just talking about that on the Dice Tower.
The cooperative version.
Where are you guys with that?
I'm not a huge fan of the game, so I'll let callers talk about it more.
I am more of a fan of Terraforming Mars Ares Expedition than Robert.
Yeah.
I will not say that it is a shorter game. Right. It is shorter.
It's shorter, yeah.
But not significantly shorter, right?
Okay,
when I'm looking for a shorter if I was looking for a shorter Terraforming Mars game, to me, it would have to be like an hour-long game.
Yeah.
And I don't think Ares Expedition is an hour-long game. It might be a 2-hour game. And if it's a 2-hour game, then I'm thinking I might as well play the 3 hours of the Terraforming Mars.
Right.
Now, it gets rid of the board aspect, which I'm okay with because I suck at the area control.
You don't like building your cities and placing your greenery?
Oh, like at the end of the game, I get no points because I'm just never doing that right.
Yeah.
It's all about the card play and the engine building there, and I like that part.
Yeah. Okay. I like the card play. I like the engine building, but I do like that board stuff. I like claiming those spots on the board, getting the cities out there, building a little greenery. It's a late game thing for me, but I like plopping all that down there at the end. But yeah,
Rob likes to drop his trees on the table.
Yeah, exactly. But no, Ares, and I know Dice Tower talked about this today because they were talking about Kickstarter stuff, or actually it was Wednesday. I'm sorry, it was yesterday. I watched it today.
Crowd surfing.
Yeah. But they were talking about all the Kickstarter and GameFound stuff. But they were talking about how these expansions seem to be going more towards Terraforming Mars because the first expansion adds more stuff, but it also adds milestones and the goals now, which was out of it. And they were like, well, hold on, that's one of the reasons I liked it, as a comparison to the full-blown Terraforming Mars, because it was quicker, it was lighter, it didn't have all that stuff. Now they're giving me expansions that pushes it closer to the actual Terraforming Mars.
I would rather play Terraforming Mars.
Right, exactly.
So it seems like I think that's trying to stay away from Kickstarter, but I'm like, maybe look at this. I looked, and same thing here. It's like, well, if I'm gonna all this stuff, I might as well just get Terraforming Mars.
Yeah, right? I own Terraforming Mars already, so yeah. So why would
it's
I?
Kind of like a smartphone, right? And then mobile markets.
Yeah.
I think mobile markets actually is a longer game than smartphone.
And it was supposed to be a card game. Smaller, quicker, lighter version.
So it's like it don't make no chance.
Yeah.
So Kickstarter has not been good the last 2 months.
Well, I think a lot of people are afraid to get on there now with the shipping issues, the supply issues, economy issues. When gas is where it's at, I don't have as much money to drop on games.
Yeah, for sure.
So I'm certain people are just kind of holding back and waiting to see if things clear out before they drop it on there.
Yeah,
you're right. Lackluster a little bit lately on the Kickstarter front.
Yeah, for sure. I think so. Anyway, all right. Well, we didn't get that last minute call. I know somebody hit.
I shut it down.
Oh, you did. Okay. So I know somebody eagerly was
Once
trying
we get to about 10:02.
Okay.
Because we have so many topics and things that we want to talk about.
Yeah, for sure.
That no offense, we love you all on the phone call, so we will open the phones from 9 to 10.
Okay.
Take your calls. And,
after 10, forget it.
Right. We got to wrap up the comments because I want to hit all the comments in there, folks.
Yeah.
And then it says the cap's at 100.
Yeah. So I think he was talking about the
mega credits.
Mega credits. Although, so he said past 120.
Well, points. You talk about points.
Oh, points. I'm sorry. Okay, the mega credits cap at 100.
80 was his highest. I think.
Gotcha.
That was a once in a lifetime game.
Okay, got it. Makes sense. Okay.
No, I wanted to talk a little bit about some of the other hobby stuff that we've been up to.
Okay.
I've been getting into laser cutting.
Yeah.
Having a blast with that. I made this cool sign. So for y'all folks, follow us on the Discord, follow us on the Facebook. I've been sharing a lot of this, but I've been able to prototype like using cardboard for player dashboards. So it's like a first iteration of what I did for Chocolate Factory as a dashboard, which ended up creating a cool dashboard that I quite say I like it. It really compacts down.
It's
the
like
play space.
balsa wood.
This is a basswood.
Basswood.
And basswood is supposed to be very
It's fishy. Yeah. Okay.
pretty cool stuff. As for Chocolate Factory, I also took Chocolate Factory and made these wooden crate tiles. So when you put your cocoa beans, that wooden cocoa bean token, you get a nice little clank when you set it on these wood tiles
Make
and
a
you move around.
fiddly game even more fiddly.
Oh, and noisy. And noisy, which I love. I think my favorite part about my Chocolate Factory upgrades that I designed and did is coal tokens. So I made I got a sack.
Yeah.
I got a sack. How much you want for the sack?
Yeah.
It's a sack of coal tokens, the 3s and the 1s. So that's been cool because it comes with cardboard in the retail edition.
Right.
But I think you'll see, like, you're going to post a video. We played Chocolate Factory tonight before the game, and Carlos will post it on the web soon. And you'll see sort of Rob and I having our game, and then his board. It's blinged out, right? You're blinging out the game.
Yeah,
Good way to look at it.
I'm
It's
loving
nice.
it.
It was really nice.
I'm going to play it a few more times, make sure it does its job well before I produce 4 of them, total of 4 for the game. I want to stain them, make them pretty.
Yeah.
But I also prototype some. We got to call them in about Tiny Epic Dungeons. That was James Lufty,
And Nick
right?
Oben.
And Nick Oben called about
Yeah.
it. So I kind of prototyped the board out of cardboard, and then ended up making a final wood one. And what's cool is I saw this online somewhere. Somebody did this before, where instead of using the tracker tokens for Tiny Epic, which is rough because they have such tiny little tokens to move on tiny little boards, and I got fat sausage fingers. I created these little dials. So you got these dials, you can dial your health, you can dial your focus. They take them off when you're dead, puts a little X there. Got a spot for your hands, a place for all your armament and your spells and your amulets, and then your player dashboard to kind of save some space. So I got to say, folks, this has been like a whole nother hobby in the hobby. Just kind of like blinging out your stuff. And I really thought about how much money I've spent over time on all this bling that I buy from other companies. Just buying a laser cutter and just making it yourself. I think in the end, I'm going to win.
Yeah.
I'm going to win.
Are the laser cutters affordable? Is that something a lot of people can run out and get or no?
Not yet.
Okay. All right. Yeah.
It took a financial investment into it. I'm not sure if it's going to really turn into anything where I'm making money out of yet. Like right now, it's just I'm really just going through and just making my stuff blinged out.
Yeah.
And then I'll have those files. So I'm certain with friends and y'all, it's going to be just print. Y'all buy the materials, we work it out and print it out and have fun. I've been throwing everything in the etcher, like beans and dice on everything. I don't know what I haven't thrown my logo on. I mean, the box above me here that you see over my head, that's a painting kit. And that painting kit, that thing cost me almost $100, with laser etching of beans and dice on it. I'll just do my own.
Yeah.
Like I'll just buy my own stuff laser etched. Made a tower, a dice tower, a little foldable. Took this to the shop yesterday for Blood Bowl, and then of course I had to throw beans and dice all over everything, everywhere, because got to let people know what I'm doing.
Got to do a thing, yeah.
And I think my favorite project, Robert, that I'm doing now,
is game box.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out okay, so Tiny Epic is not so Tiny Epic, especially when you go all in. You get so much stuff you cannot fit it back in the box. So I'm trying to come up with this idea of a chest where I can layer in the different box tops from the Tiny Epic game as the trays. So instead of making trays, right, which takes more wood, takes more energy, repurposing the box itself to fit inside of a chest that's going to hold the pieces, and then it just seals up top with a chest box, and boom, now you got your whole game in a chest, and all I did was create 4 sides, top and bottom.
That's pretty cool.
Okay, yeah.
And then you can carry your whole Tiny Epic Dungeon game in one box.
And it's busted out, and you can play with the tops. That's pretty cool.
And now it's Carlos's method of organization.
Scrape it in the box. Yeah.
Just dump tokens inside of a container, but a little more civilized.
I'm starting to get more into the sweep it into the box thing.
Sweep it in the box.
I'm getting there.
Did you? Okay. So we played Chocolate Factory today,
Yep.
and I swept it into a bag.
Yeah.
Right. I put all the components into one bag so they just don't fly around. It wasn't terrible setting up the organization.
No, it was really no slower or faster than normal. I mean, I think sweep it in the box versus like you did, like sweep it into bigger bags. So all one component, just throw it in one bag. And then it's a little easier to separate out, but you're not going crazy separating out everything into its own individual components. It was cool. It was fine.
I'm turning them.
You're turning me.
Turning
I like
them?
the box idea, though. That's kind of cool because it doesn't make it that much bigger. Because if you took the whole box, it's,
It holds it all together.
one and a
yeah.
half times the size of the box. So.
And it's going to be 1/4 inch stained wood, so it's going to look pretty. It's
Yeah.
going to look like. Bring that broken token over here. I don't remember how much I spent on that for Splendor. That's what gave me the idea. I was here trying to figure out, man, how do I store my Tiny Epic Dungeon
Epic?
stuff? But this is my Splendor kit for from Broken Token, 1/4 inch wood, and then inside it's got the place for the tokens and the place for your cards, the chips in your cards. And I literally just emptied it and started throwing my Tiny Epic stuff in here to see would it fit. And I'm like, oh, well, I got to create trays, and that's going to be a pain in the butt, having to design all that. And then it just suddenly hit me. What if I just put the box lid in there and made that a tray? So we'll see how that works out. But I just wanted to share, what I've been up to, what I've been into. I've been meeting a lot of folks and talking to folks online about this whole design and blinging thing. And it's just a very interesting part of the hobby. So if you have ideas or if you have thoughts on what I can do better or different, definitely join us in the chat on the Discord or in the Facebook, and let me know what your thoughts are on what I'm doing, and if you got tips or ideas or games that you think I should bling out next. And because this was the next one after Radlands. Somebody else had told me about Radlands. I took the retail copy of Radlands, printed out my own acrylic tokens. I etched my own game mat, right? Because that's one of the big pieces of the whole deluxe thing. $75 game. I got it for $18, and I just etched some $3 felt.
All right. Yeah.
There you go.
And the game is playable.
Nice.
So it's an interesting part of the hobby. Looking forward to sharing more with y'all in the future. But man, y'all have stuck around the whole time. The very cool setup here with the StreamYard.
Yeah, it's been pretty easy.
It's been pretty nice.
I like it.
Yep.
Anything for the folks at home that I missed?
Just make sure you hit this like button on whatever streaming service you're using.
Yeah, there you go. Like, a thumbs up here wouldn't hurt.
Well,
Yeah.
shoot, Wayne, for that, you're getting your own camera next week.
Keep hitting those likes. Yeah. Oh, we got a few last minute comments here. Anything going on?
Let's see if any comments on there. Let's see. Ferdinand. Nandy says.
This one here?
Yep. Can't wait to see the frog pitch.
Oh, I was
So,
trying to figure out what a frog pitch was before I clicked on it. Carlos, you got something going on we don't know about? A frog pitch?
Salamander baseball team.
Oh, okay, gotcha. All right. That's what he's talking about.
Nandy plays Blood Bowl. I saw him last night, was sharing some of the stuff I was cutting out from the acrylic stuff, and he plays a frog team, a salamander team. They're called salamanders. They're frogs. They leap around, move around a lot. He came up. He said he had always wanted an acrylic clear sheet etched on the bottom with the football lines, the yard lines from the football team in blue, almost like water, and then like lily pads etched throughout. So that when you lay it on top of the table, it looks like a swamp or like a water.
Wow.
Like a water feature.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I think we can do that.
That's a thought.
So I'm
cool.
going to start playing around with that idea.
Mitchell says, I had to step away for a second. Man, y'all are going late tonight. Yeah, I keep looking at the clock here. It's 10:20, but yeah.
See, and I'm thinking about that for future state, right? We take phone calls maybe for an hour, and then we wrap up with almost like a podcast conversation about what's been going on without the breaking up in the interruption part of it, kind of
phone calls
sharing.
Yeah.
Or do we switch that? Do we spend 30 minutes from 9 to 9:30, right? Dedicated time to talk about what we've been doing, kind of share news, and then open up the phone lines from like 9:30 to 10:30. I don't know. These are thoughts that are running through my head. Y'all comment in the chats and the game
or you
rooms.
split it up, do 15 and phones, and then 15 at the end.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. We have to think about it. I think, our conversation might spark some ideas in the calls. but that might take away from people calling and just spontaneously talking about whatever they want to talk about. But yeah, who knows?
We'll still do an hour of phones, but maybe just lead off with 20, 30 minutes of podcast style conversation and then open the phone lines.
Yeah, maybe we'll try that and see how it goes. Yeah.
Give us your thoughts.
Cool.
Mitchell, podcasting after the show, trying to cut me
Out of this.
No. I didn't say podcasting. I said podcast like. Right. Mitchell and I still have the podcast going. We took a break during the Iberia trip, the New Orleans trip. We meant to record while we were out there. I said, listen, y'all, I brought all the equipment with me all the way to Louisiana.
But he drank too much.
No. I set it all up in the back of the con, all there. Microphones, headphones, ready to go. And I'm like, all right, ready to record when you guys are.
We were playing games. We were there to play games.
We played more games.
Yeah, we played games.
We played more games.
So we made good use of the time.
So we missed the podcast to talk about what we played.
And we ate.
Oh, I would have missed the podcast for eating.
The po' boy.
Oh, my God. The booting balls.
Yeah.
The jambalaya.
Yeah.
You know what was the best thing I had out there?
What was that?
The best thing. Read my mind. What was the best thing that we ate out there?
The best thing that we ate out there.
Best. Like nonstop best.
In was it in Lafayette or was it over?
Don't matter. Just think. Best thing we ate in Louisiana.
I ate a lot of good stuff. I don't know if I can single it down to one thing. I don't know.
I can.
Tell me, what was it?
Peach cobbler.
Oh, the peach
Holy
cobbler.
crap.
No, I like some peach cobbler. The peach cobbler was pretty good. I've had better peach cobbler, though, but I was there for the New Orleans.
I get it. That New Orleans stuff was great, but that peach cobbler had
was
me.
Good. It was good, yeah. But you got to go to some lanes up in Georgia.
I drove by it on the way to Stone Mountain, or Thunder Mountain.
Thunder Mountain. Okay, yeah. You Stone Mountain's in Atlanta, but you need to try Lane's. Their peach cobbler with hot peach cobbler with peach ice cream on top of it. Oh, it's to die for. Yeah, it is so good.
Oh, my tummy's rumbling.
Give me some oyster po' boys.
Yeah,
I had my first po' boy.
We had shrimp po' boys over out
from
there.
Pops. We went. We had Pops po' boys.
Yeah. Po' boys. Po' boys.
Po' boys.
Po' boy.
the shrimp one. I had the shrimp. Holy crap!
They're good.
That was amazing. That bread was crusty but not crunchy.
Oh yeah,
It's like the La Segunda bread, the Cuban bread.
It was good bread.
It's like fresh La Segunda bread.
There you go.
But softer on the inside.
Yeah,
it's like
it's a little thicker. Right?
And I had some red beans and rice with andouille sausage. When you dropped us off on Monday, we found a place down just off Bourbon Street, and it was probably the best red beans and rice I've had in my life. It was to die for. So
we had good red beans and rice on Thursday.
We did that little mall. It wasn't a mall, but it was a multi-food court, little food court thing where they had all these little things. We're like, this is a food court, and we got that sampler thing where was it red beans and rice. We had, was it jambalaya?
Or
was it etouffee? I can't remember.
Etouffee. Crawfish etouffee.
And then there was a third thing on there. I can't remember. It was dirty rice or
dirty
something?
rice.
Dirty rice.
Oh, the dirty rice is good.
It was good.
Yeah.
that was one of the best things we ate.
I think that was the best thing about the Louisiana trip.
Oh yeah, for me for sure.
Listen, we haven't lost a viewer yet. We're just talking about food.
But yeah, playing the games was fun. The festival was great. The music festival,
the beer was great.
Beer was good.
The amazing part about Louisiana,
the food.
Did you know that you can walk around and drink anywhere in Louisiana?
You can open drink. So Carlos, we revealed this to him after he had been in New Orleans for about 24 hours. He hadn't realized it. I told him, you can get that to go, right? You can just grab a beer on the way out the door. He's like, no. I was like, yeah, it's one of the handful of places in the United States where you can just openly walk around. And so he was like, hold on, watch this. So we walked out, and about 2 blocks away, there was a cop on the corner. Carlos walked by, held his beer up. He's like, hey, look at me. And the cop, what did he say? He said, I forget what he said as he walked by. He's like, have a good day or something. But he kind of like a little bit of irritated, but a little bit of, all right, yeah, I see you. I know what you're doing, but just keep walking. So
that was cool.
Yeah, that was a good time.
It's unique.
Yeah,
it
was a good time.
I love the food there, man.
Yeah.
Sobo's on my list. Especially since it's near spring break. If it happens again to coincide with spring break.
On spring break, my wife loves New Orleans.
All right, so that goes out to BJ and to Mitchell. Get with the Sobo folks. If y'all can coordinate it with a Tampa spring break,
it's already on the books.
We just might be down there.
We could tell you the week.
Yeah, I had to just bring that up because as I was talking, Mitchell chimed in on exactly what I was saying. Waved a beer in the cop's face and said "Salute." So yeah,
that's how you get taken down.
And oh my God, the people were so friendly, so friendly. I remember going to the Taco Bell thinking, that was the best service
Most friendly
I've
Taco Bell
ever
I've ever
had at 2 a.m. from a Taco Bell.
Yeah, good stuff. Yeah, we had to hit the walking taco there. That's for sure for Taco Bell. If, Mitchell says, if you start off with a podcast and no one calls, what will you have left to talk about after that? Oh, we've always got stuff to talk about. That's never a worry. We've got endless.
I got
topics.
slide decks.
Yeah, we've got endless topics.
And I don't think Mitchell could resist not calling.
Yeah, he'd have to call. He'd have to call, even if nobody else called. He'd break the silence. So
Yeah, we got to get him in here as a virtual host.
we got.
I know he's doing his shows right now. His
board game battles.
No,
the theater.
He's a theater guy. He's
stuff,
got a theater show going on, so we couldn't.
Yeah.
I was hoping he'd host with us tonight to talk about the Louisiana gaming, but he couldn't make it. But
Okay.
he's still here. He must be over there watching the kids do their acting and chime in at the same time.
Yep.
So I think that unless you all have anything else for the show. I know Carlos is real number. He'll call in.
He'll find us one way or another. Even if we shut off the phones, he'll still call in.
Call my wife's phone and be like, "Get your husband over here."
That's funny. Anyway,
close us out. You got anything?
No, I'm good. I can't think of anything.
Final thoughts, Robert? Final thoughts?
No, it's been a little dry for me gaming the last couple of weeks, but we got to get back to it.
It's been 3 weeks since you've been on the show.
Yeah,
right?
yeah, I've been busy, still doing the house stuff. Unfortunately, that's not done yet, although I can see the light. Hopefully the next few days we'll be done with the house stuff, and I can unpack all my games, pull everything back out, just kind of roll around in a stack of my board games for a few days. Yeah. Naked, of course. I mean, of course, naked in a stack of board games.
Scrooge McDuckin through it.
Yeah, so I can't wait to break that out, but and then I'll be able to get away from the house. I'm stuck there all day with the workers and all that, but coming to an end, and then I did the Disney thing, and then we did New Orleans, so it's been a whirlwind for me the last couple of weeks. So
July is not far away.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
Mitchell says he's got a ticket. He's coming out.
Yeah, so we're doing Dice Tower East in July, and that's a different experience than what we've talked about with the smaller cons. This one is big. It's 2,500 people or something. So it's a big event, and shows and panels and all that good stuff. So yeah, I'm looking forward to that.
and the view get that comment from Mitch. And the viewers started dropping when Rob starts talking about taking his clothes off.
Oh no! People, my wife tunes in only for that part. So no, she doesn't. No, she doesn't. Anyway,
all right, folks. I'm Carlos.
I'm Rob,
and I'm Wayne,
and we are the Beans and Dice Podcast, a podcast about
how we game.
Thanks, folks, for watching. Thanks for sticking around. My God, like. You know, we've been keeping the same number of viewers pretty much the whole day.
Yeah, we could do this all night.
Babbling.
I bet we could outlast you, but we're not going to try.
But we got some rookies waiting for us, some brownie cookies that I'm going to go dig into.
I'm going to eat some brownie.
So on that note, I'm going to cut the mics, and then we're going to figure out how to stop this thing, because this whole software thing.
There's probably a button that says stop broadcasting. Right there says end broadcast.
I see it up here in the corner.
Is that how that works?
Yeah, that's how that works.
Let me hit that outro. Good night,
everybody.
folks.
Right.
Thanks for watching.
Thanks for watching the Beans and Dice Podcast. Don't forget to like and subscribe.